In this video, I'm going to be talking about ways where you can reprogram your mind to snap out of situations where you feel you're not going anywhere, or you feel that you don't know how to make change, to change how your life can become and how to do something, or being blocked in your mind, push forward, essentially get out of that I cannot mode. I won't, or I will do it another time. I've got some tips where I want to just share, and these tips are, once you hear them, they just click in your mind. They're already in your mind, so it's kind of worth just addressing them, just to make reminders for you, or just to make you wake up a little bit so you can take action rather than think of these things. The first tip I would say is to start today. As human beings, we put things off until tomorrow. We always say, oh, I'll do it another time. I will start that tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I will start my diet tomorrow. I will start that project tomorrow. I will give up something in your life. You'll start it tomorrow. So if you start it today, or you start it after this video, then that's one thing you've achieved, and that's a change in your life where you may not be aware of it now, but subconsciously it really will affect how things progress tomorrow. Tip number 2 is to, when you are reading stuff, the content you are reading in relation to moving forward, or self-help, or how to make money, or ways to improve self-esteem, or general sort of self-help advice, what you want to do is apply those things that they mention in these books to your day-to-day life, and not just read it and then put it away just so you absorb the knowledge. You want to apply the knowledge rather than absorb it, and that will be very beneficial for, again, what you do in your day-to-day life for tomorrow. Tip number 3 is to essentially take advice from people that are successful. So if you are going on YouTube, only focus on people who are mentally switched on, or financially well. That will ensure that you are in the right frame of mind, and you are, in short, you are moving towards a goal which you want to achieve but you can't quite reach because your mind is blocking you. So what I mean by listen to those people is that if you are listening to people that are, say for example, poor, or say for example always get into trouble, or they're just giving you advice, but they have no idea, or they don't apply these pieces of advice to themselves, or they're giving bad advice and you can recognize it, or they're just giving you sort of pieces of conversation where they're not really telling you anything, but you're taking it as advice. That's what you want to avoid. The next piece of advice is to be okay when you fail. If you fail at something, you've learned how to improve and try and attempt to not fail again. And when you realize that it's okay to fail, and that you can actually improve on these things, then that will better yourself when you go forward and you try again, because the fact that you're trying again, you can improve on things. For example, me, I've failed in many things, many things, even on YouTube, even in investing. I've made so many failures, but I've realized and I've learned from those mistakes to not do them again, and to apply something else and learn something else, better myself, and not brought down by my failures, because those failures ultimately are your biggest learning experience to move forward. The next thing I would say is to never blame your circumstances, because every single person in this world has their own sort of path. And I know it can sound pretty deep when you really listen into it, but never blame your circumstances, because you may have been dealt bad luck, and other people, your friends, your colleagues, or your closest friends, family members, they have been dealt good luck, and that reflects in their life, and you can see that. And you look at yourself and you think, I have not got that, I've not got A, B or C. However, you should be thankful for what you have got, because they might see something in you that they really desire. For example, you might have way more free time than they have. They might have family, they might have kids, they might have full-time jobs where they have to provide for their children and they have to provide for their family. You might not have that, and they may see that as a luxury that you have, because you don't have that sort of commitment and responsibility. Not that those things are bad, that's just an example. They might see something in you that they desire. So always be thankful for what you've got and how that in your life is just you. That's the path you've been given in that sense. I'm not trying to go really deep, but that's more or less what it is. I've only said a few tips already, but if you found them already quite useful, please consider liking the video and subscribing for more future content like this. My channel is very mixed at the moment. I'm trying to do different things and I'm trying to improve the channel the best way I can. Next thing I will say is something we all sort of fall into, which is you should not expect someone to help you or to wait for that person to help you, because that person might not ever come. 99% of the time won't. Don't expect anyone in this world to help you, because everyone is looking out for themselves. You are on this video right now because you are looking after yourself, number one. You may share this with someone, but ultimately you've clicked on this for yourself. You've not clicked on it to help somebody else. Never start that process where in your mind where, oh, maybe I will win the lottery, or maybe something will drop out of the sky where my life will improve. It's very, very extremely unlikely that will happen. So never expect anything or anyone to improve your life other than yourself. Next thing I will say is to step out of your comfort zone, and this is a very common one that you probably hear all the time. So I won't go into it too much, but the principle is if you are still in your comfort zone and you're not doing anything new, then no new opportunities will come to you. So if you're constantly doing the same thing every day, you're doing the same routine, in terms of, this could be for making money, this could be for certain things in your life, then nothing is really going to change drastically at all. So best thing to do is to step out of a comfort zone. For me, it was, talking on YouTube. I was never really someone who would. I always used to like to talk to people and just like long form conversations with people in general. Like that's just me as a person. That's who I am. But I never thought I would do YouTube and do sort of content like this where I'm talking all the time and talking to an audience, talking about crypto or video games or anything like that. I never thought I'd be doing this sort of thing. Things propelled, I guess, forward. So always step out of a comfort zone, because when you step out of your comfort zone, like for this, if I didn't do this, I wouldn't have found an enjoyment and I would never have done it. So I would never have known this experience if I wasn't to do it. So always do something out of your comfort zone, and that's new to you, like a new skill. Another thing I would say is, it kind of falls into that, is to always keep your promises and always rely on your own promises. So if you're going to promise yourself something, say, I'm going to start this tomorrow, even though my first point was to say start today, you need to follow through with the promises you give yourself, because you are going to not only let yourself down in terms of, I know I've failed, but you are delaying, you are literally delaying the outcome of it, the journey through it. You're just delaying it another day or another week or another month or even another year. So it's very beneficial to keep those plans and promises intact. Another point I will say is, because everyone is so short on time these days, everything is a rush, everything is just a complete rush. Avoid working on stuff that doesn't matter, and only work on the things that do. The most important things on your list, your to-do list, do those first. If you have time, then do those other things later. The next thing I will say is, if you are saturated in a market where you think, well, I can't make money here, it's too competitive, or I can't do that because everyone else is doing it. What you need to do, and again, it's probably a very common practice that everyone else discusses and gives advice on, is to do something that no one is doing in that niche that no one else is doing. So for example, me, my channel is a crypto channel, and I've got a background now of just, beautiful places in the world whilst I'm talking about this. That's one thing I very rarely see in crypto videos. Another thing is, what I do is I play video games. So I show in the background when I'm talking my gameplay of certain games I play whilst I'm talking, or just that's pre-recorded that I've done on my other channel, and then I talk over it. I talk over the footage. So that is something I never see in the crypto space. I never ever see anyone play games as the background, the background filler, just so it's not dull or boring. So do something that no one else is doing in that regard. So if you have a quality such as cooking or skill in design, architecture, things like that, and you want to showcase it and you want to show your knowledge on YouTube, make sure you're showing it in a way where it's in a way different to what you're used to seeing, because that's how you stand out from the crowd, and that's how you gain popularity or subscribers or, you know, views, things like that, if that's what you're after. One big piece of advice as well is to talk less and do more. The common phrase of actions speak louder than words is it's used for a reason, because we all talk, we all plan, but we never execute, or we delay, like I've gone over. Ensure that you talk less and do more. Write it down, put it on a post-it note, put it in your kitchen, on your fridge so you see it, put it on your phone as a reminder, as an alarm, for example. Do those things so you are constantly reminded of it, and then you will be able to do it rather than talking about it and then forgetting about it. Another piece of advice I would give is to not always think what other people are thinking about you, because you are already too busy thinking about yourself already. You don't need to give that mental time in your brain to think, what is John thinking? What is Sarah thinking about me? What is their opinion of me? You need to step out of that bubble, because you're already thinking about what other people think of you, but you're not thinking about yourself. Think about yourself first over anyone. You don't need to worry about what people are thinking, because they're not really thinking. They're only focused on themselves. And that's what people really do fail to understand. People are more focused on themselves than focusing on you. That's why if you suffer from anxiety and you're walking down the street and you think, oh, I'm having an attack because I think someone's judging me, or I think someone's going to talk to me, 99% of the time they're in their own world. And if they're staring at you, it's because they're in their own, they're staring into space. They're in their own zone. They're thinking about getting home. They're thinking about something else. They're not thinking about a stranger on the street, which is you. And the same applies when you're walking down the street. You're not thinking about the person in front of you. You're thinking about your own life. It goes both ways. Another piece of advice is to always be willing to learn. So like I've mentioned with me, with my job is completely different to what you're seeing right now. This is just pieces of content I just produce and I enjoy doing. I enjoy making videos and I've got kind of used to it, but I'm still learning. If you look at my videos, you'll see a massive difference in terms of how they are. But overall, I'm still learning. If you look at the videos I've done before, you will see a huge difference in terms of what they are and what they look like, how I deliver it, content-wise. It's all over the place, you could say. So, but you know, admittedly, I'm still learning YouTube. I'm still learning where I need to be on YouTube, where my concrete sort of pathway is for YouTube. You could say I've not found myself on YouTube yet, based on the sort of different levels of videos that I produce. The point I'm saying is always be willing to learn, always be willing to learn from mistakes and failures. Like I mentioned, when you are learning about yourself, you are learning what you can do, what you are improving on, and what needs to go and what needs to be deleted from what you're already doing and what you're already applying or working on. The last tip is to make money and spend less while you make it. A big example of this is when you make money and you've got your paycheck at the end of the month, you are of course going to pay for those necessities in life, your rent, your food, things like that, your bills, everything. What you spend after that is more of a less of a need, I guess. So if you don't need to go out for dinners every weekend. You don't need to go to bars and meet up with friends all the time and just socialize. Well, you can obviously, of course, still go, but you don't need to spend money on doing it. If your goal is to be a better person mentally by reprogramming your mind based on what this video is, then you need to spend less than what you're making. Because ultimately, that money that you're drinking or you're eating or you're wearing, that money can go towards investing, it can go towards family, it can go towards the more important things in life, the future things. So those are my tips for today for reprogramming and just essentially changing. If they have helped, please like the video and subscribe, leave a comment, let me know your opinions, let me know your pieces of advice for anyone, because that's ultimately what this video is for, is to help others be reminded of the certain things in life which are important and what we can just get rid of and remove from our mind, clean that out of our head, get rid of it. So I hope it's helped. Like the video, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.